So what's up guys, welcome to the Momentum Trading Lab. I'm your host Renier. Please remember to hit that like and subscribe and let's get into it. Alright, let's start the analysis with the dollar index. Start with the daily. Okay, so I'm gonna start with a clean chart today. But this is basically what we projected to move to sweep the relative equal lows before getting another little move to the upside. So let's go back to the daily. Then I'm going to remove everything. And let's switch on the Momentum Master B. Alright, so over here we had a high. So that was our buy side liquidity that they came for. And then got a little bit of a move to the downside, telling us that there's a possibility that larger players bought up all of the buy stops above. Okay, and then on the Momentum Master, there's a bearish divergence on the stochastics RSI. See if it almost looks like there's a bit of a divergence on the RSI as well. So over here we have a high and then a lower high. And on price action, we have a high and then a higher high. So that is a regular bearish divergence. You can also see it's visible on the stochastics. And then we also have a bearish divergence on the Williams, which is the strength indication. So it's basically telling us that the dollar is running out of strength and out of momentum. And then obviously most of them are pushing to the downside, except for the RSI is still pointing up a little bit. But we could on the next candle close see the RSI start to move to the downside. Okay, and then there was one little imbalance right there on the daily chart. Gonna make this a little bit smaller. Because I came into it, then got a little bit of a bounce. There's another one right there. Okay, so for this little leg to the upside, we are still in a premium. So it seems likely that the dollar will retrace at least back into a discount. And then we also have this fair value gap right here with the Fibonacci 618 right at the bottom. So it seems likely we could see a move all the way in here and then potentially get another push to the upside. Okay, so we had that volume imbalance that we already tapped into. Right here. We got that rejection. So I'm going to keep it there because that can act as potentially as resistance again. Okay, so this buy side liquidity that already came for. Okay, and then if the dollar retraces into a discount and it gets a bounce off the 618 and it pushes to the upside past this volume imbalance, then we have these relative equal highs right here. So then that will be the next level that we will watch for rejection. Okay, so this level is at 105.883. And then we have these equal highs. Okay, so if we push through the volume imbalance, then that's our next level right there. Also, unclaimed fair value gap in between these three candles. And there's another one right there. So there's a bunch of unclaimed inefficiencies on the dollar. Let's see what is to the downside. Little one right there. But these ones has got my interest because we have these relative equal highs right here. So we could, if the get the retrace and then the bounce and break through the volume imbalance, then we could potentially see a move towards these inefficiencies. And this one starts at 108.448, and the next one is at 111.235. Have a look at the 4 hour. Okay, so they just kind of came into the liquidity right here and into this inefficiency, and then displaced to the upside past the most recent lower high. So that is a market structure shift. Okay, let's get a Fibonacci on this. Just tap into the discount area. And so it came into this imbalance. So there's another one right there. You have to kind of say this is still a lower high. A little bit of indecision. Let's have a look at the 1 hour. I want to quickly have a look at the... Okay, so the daily is definitely bearish. Gonna switch off this for a moment. Have a look at the 1 hour. Okay, so we still have that gap right there. So this is a liquidity void, so there was no trading in between that area. Mark that off. Just touched it. Okay, so to me it looks like they stab it into this area one more time before continuing to the downside to potentially go back into a discount on the daily chart. To have this market structure shift on the 4 hour, came back into a discount. And there's a low right there, but did it displace below that low? Let's have a closer look on the 15 minute. There's not really any imbalances. There's one right there, but it looks like it's getting a little bit of a move from this level. We'll see how it closes. Let's look at the 15 minute. So relative equal lows. There was a imbalance right there. Okay, so it wants to get past that high. You see there's a bullish order flow right there. Because it looks like the dollar is gonna retries to rebalance this area and then move the upside towards that area. And then we'll see, is it going to consolidate in this area and then make an inversion fair value gap of this imbalance, and then continue to the midpoint of that fair value gap, and then get the move down on the daily that we expect back into a discount, and to also rebalance this inefficiency right there. Bit of a divergence right here on the Williams. It says a low and a lower low. And then we have a low and a higher low. This is maybe what it needs to, after the 5-minute reset, to get that push into that area. Yeah, so I think maybe what they will do is they will push it to the upside to knock out the liquidity above this high. This will also rebalance this liquidity void that we have right here, and then get the move to the downside on the daily chart. Yeah, I think that is what is potentially going to happen during the course of the rest of the day. Little bit of a move down and then a push to the upside for the dollar. All right, that's the DXY. Let's have a look at the Nasdaq. Go to the 1 hour. Okay, so let's have a look at the price action that happened during the course of the day. So we had the open was right here, 9:30. Okay, so right at 9:30. So this is not almost what happens every single day, is the opening move will just move into where there is liquidity, and then it will reverse to the upside. So here we had the relative equal lows. So they tapped into that liquidity and then moved away. So right at the open, moved into the liquidity, and then it chopped around a little bit, and then there was a slight little bit of a market structure shift. I want to quickly see something on the 1 minute. Okay, so this is on the 1 minute. So this was my only little trade for the day, was entering on this fair value gap, and then I played this little move, and then I exited somewhere around there for about 20 or 25 points. I just want to check in the Discord. For about 25 points, that little move. So why did I enter? There was these lows. They just tapped into it and then displaced away above this high. So that is a market structure shift. And then you just enter on the fair value gap that the displacement creates. And I just ran it to the most recent high that we had right here. Knock out all of the shorts, and then dump to the downside. So right here, this was right after 10 o'clock was this dump. To see the move, the opening move, right the liquidity, and then they dump it. So I was watching out for the silver bullet fair value gap. So I did not get it, this one right here. So when we had this dump, I was looking at this fair value gap right here, with the order just above that high of this candle. So I just missed it. then I had a nice dump to the downside. And then I also looked at this fair value gap, but it never came back into it. It just continued down and just basically knocked out this low, which was the low from yesterday's trading. Well, during the New York morning session. So that would have been your ultimate eventual target for that little short right there. Okay, that's basically what happened during the New York AM session. Okay, let's start on the daily with the fresh analysis. Okay, a little bit of indecision right here. It kind of looks like it could go either way with these oscillators, money flow pointing down and far away. So I really thought this morning that we would at least take out the previous day high before reversing, but that obviously didn't happen. That's the previous day high, previous day low. Okay, and then that high is gonna have the buy side liquidity on the daily. Okay, there was a small imbalance that just pushed past it. Okay, so we came into this imbalance and then got rejected. And this was your bearish order block candle. So it almost came right to the mean threshold of the order block candle and then got rejected. Just put this line right here. Alright, so this was the very last low on the 4 hour. It broke it, but it's not displacing past it yet. But if we have a look at the 1 hour, 1 hour took out this high, then just made a lower high, and then we got the displacement and the bearish market structure shift below this low. Came in here, dumped to the downside. Now we have another one. Another one right here. I'm thinking it's maybe drawing towards the previous day low after it took out all of the liquidity above these highs. And now they are possibly looking for a move towards the previous day low at 15,492. But they could also come for these lows right here. If we go to the 15. Okay, so there's one right there, but we'll have to just pull a fib on this. Okay, so this little move has not gone back into a premium to look for the short position. Like this blue. Okay, so I'm thinking maybe just a stab up into this area to take out all of the trailing stops that might be located above this high. And then push it into this fair value gap towards the Fibonacci 618. And then run towards the previous day low. And that previous day low also aligns nicely with this Fibonacci extension level. Yeah, how many points that is from the golden pocket? About 116. And then it could also go and attack these lows right there. You never know. Let's have a look at the 5-minute. Okay, so you can see the bearish order flow on the 5-minute as well with these down close candles. And there's one right here. It hasn't really closed the candle above it yet. But it is creating these highs. So that also kind of adds to this idea. So people might be stacking their stop losses for their shorts above these highs, kind of trailing it. Or any new short positions might put their stops right here. So they could just tag these stops, rebalance the inefficiency, and then maybe get a bounce or rejection from the 618 or the OTE on your fib. And then we run it towards the previous day low. Okay, it's kind of up in the air. We also have these lows. So there's basically two setups that we can look at. Okay, so the this little bit of consolidation was just during the New York lunch hour. So they might just chop it around in here to induce liquidity on either side. And then that false little move might be the one that takes out the buy stops and rebalances this inefficiency. And then we get the move to the downside. But it's all about the displacement. If we see, what we can also do is if they tap in here and then displace to the upside, then you can enter on the retrace and then run it towards the Fibonacci OTE. And then we look for a bearish market structure shift from here that takes out the previous low, enter in a premium fair value gap, and then run it to the downside. So that's basically the two things that we can look at. If they sweep these lows, so just kind of touch into it, knock everyone out. And then if it displaces to the upside and it leaves that fair value gap, that's your displacement. So if we then break into bullish market structure, then we can enter on the retrace into the fair value gap and then run it towards the OTE area for a quick little scalp. So that could potentially be about 50, 60 points. And then once we get into that level, so once we get into this level, then we just wait for a market structure shift. So it must take out the most recent higher low with displacement that creates that fair value gap, and then you enter on a premium fair value gap, and then we run it towards the previous day low and target some low hanging fruit on this side. So see what obvious lows there are. There's one right there. So this might be one of your targets, and then you just peel off the contracts as we move to the downside. Alrighty, so that's what I'm looking at for the PM session. So remember, the silver bullet starts at 2 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. So the idea is you kind of wait for a liquidity sweep before 2 o'clock, and then you wait for price to trade back into a fair value gap, and then you enter in that fair value gap and you exit on the first opposing liquidity pool. So that's kind of the idea, and there must be more than 10 points on offer to the next opposing liquidity pool. So that is what I am targeting. We'll see what happens. So I'm going to be looking for the little long scalp. If they sweep this area, then we can enter, for instance, on the 2 minute or the 1 minute. And then we run it towards that imbalance right there. And then once we get there, we can look for the short setup to the downside. All right, I think that's what I'm going to be looking at for the afternoon session. I've only had one trade for today and 0 for yesterday. And before I forget, there's some important stuff. Okay, so Forex Factory. So today, not much going on. We just have these low impact events at 1, which is right now. But tomorrow we have the CPI data coming out at 8:30. So just be mindful. There's going to be loads of volatility at around 8:30. My personal preference is to wait until 10 o'clock, and then I'll basically open my first trade if the setup is there, as well as in the afternoon session. And then on Thursday we have core PPI, so also high impact news events at 8:30. And then on Friday the same. So lots of volatility for the rest of the week. So let's definitely make the most of that, and but be responsible, obviously. But there's definitely going to be a bit of volatility in the market from tomorrow. So I'm definitely excited for that. So I just wanted to bring that to everyone's attention. All right. And then just to end it off, let's just have a quick recap on Bitcoin. Okay, so I deleted all my work. But basically what we were looking at. Okay, where was it? Okay, so when I did the last Bitcoin update, we were looking, price action was I think in this area, and we said we are waiting for a move back into this fair value gap, and then a move down to take out all of the sell side liquidity, which happened. And now we are displacing above the most recent lower high. Also took out buy side liquidity right there. So it seems likely we retrace a bit. Look at this level right here. Potentially a 786 Fibonacci retrace or OTE. So what I would personally do is you just wait for it to get on into this level. And then on Bitcoin, I like to use the 5 minute for the market structure shift. Why is it taking so long? Okay, so it looks like I'm having some connection issues. All right, so I'll end it right there. Thank you guys for tuning in today. I'll be back tomorrow at around the same time, and I will do my best to keep everyone updated in the Discord. So thank you guys very much, and until next time.